here I am to give you an overview of geography. So what are the topics that I will cover? I'll just give you an idea of what is this subject about. What do you expect from the subject? What kind of material should you read? What kind of domain of the subject is? So first, hello everyone. Welcome to the Pinnacle Batch. This is a demo class for the subject of geography. I am Dimple Nankani and I'll be taking the geography subject for the Pinnacle Batch. Here I am to give you an overview of geography. So I'll give you the overview of geography. What is the batch? The batch is Pinnacle Batch. What I'm teaching, I'll be teaching the subject of geography. So what are the topics that I will cover? The topics that I will be covering in the today's class is, first we'll start off with the basics. We'll just start off the basic. We'll start off with the subject. I'll just give you an idea of what is this subject about. What do you expect from the subject? What kind of material should you read? What kind of domain of the subject is? So first, why are we studying? We are studying geography. Why are we studying geography? We are studying geography for an examination. Right? We have to understand the need of the examination, and for us to understand the need of the examination, there are certain reference material that we have to take into consideration. So topics that I'll be covering, we are studying geography. So what is geography? What is it? What is it? Second, I'm studying geography for some examination. So what are the books that I have to read to have an idea about the subject, to have details about the subject? Okay? So books that have to be read to understand the detailed idea. Then we will start off a topic. The topic that we have, we'll start off the topic of universe. We will then start off with the universe. What is universe? How is it formed? What are the other things that are related to universe? So first and foremost, I am studying geography. Why am I studying geography? For I have to qualify an examination, that is UPSC examination. For UPSC examination to be qualified, I need to study geography and I have some reference material. So what is the reference material that I have for the subject? The reference material that I have for the subjects are the NCERT. Okay. Why should I study NCERT? Because many questions, they come from NCERT. Okay. What NCERTs are important? Some of the seniors would say that only class 11th NCERT is important. Lot of questions come from class 11th NCERT. There are 2 NCERTs from class 11th. We will see that. But then my analysis of the students and my advice to you would be, you should have a very strong base. If you want to understand class 11th NCERT, both of the NCERTs, the base should be strong. How do you develop that base? You develop that base by reading NCERT of a smaller standard. Smaller standard, where should I start from? I can start from class 6th. What is the NCERT? For your reference, because you keep on asking old NCERT, new NCERT, which NCERT. So I've put a picture so that you know that which NCERT has to be studied. So this is the class 6th NCERT. So what did I say? That we have to read books. Which books? Some of you will say that I have to only read class 11. This is fine, but for your base, I would recommend don't simply start off with class 11. You start from class 11 to class 12. Okay, class 6, 7, 8, and then you go on. What is class 6th NCERT? This is class 6th NCERT. This is the class 6th NCERT. The Earth, our habitat. What does it tell about? It tells about solar system. It tells about mountains, it tells about trade, it tells about wildlife, it talks about a satellite. So there are a lot of things, basic idea about the earth, the habitat that our earth has. So one, the class 6th NCERT, basic NCERT, very easy NCERT to read. We can complete, if we go together, we can complete this one in one day itself. So class 6th NCERT. Then moving on, then what do you have? You have class 7th NCERT. What is class 7th NCERT about? It is talking about our environment. So is it related to environment subject alone? No. You cannot separate geography and environment. A faculty of geography invariably becomes a faculty of environment, because environment is a portion that you study. So our environment, it gives you a brief idea about the wildlife, the flora, the fauna. It talks about what are the various types of forests that we have, what are the types of grasslands that we have on the earth. So class 7th NCERT, this is the cover page. our environment. So this gives you an idea about the earth, our habitat. This gives you an idea about the environment. Moving on, the next NCERT that we have is class 8th NCERT. This is related to what? This is related to resources and development. This is related to resources and development. What is a resource? What do we mean by development? Okay, so we are moving. See, how are we moving? We are moving from earth. We are to understanding the earth. We have understood the environment. Then from the environment, we are also trying to understand the resources that are present on the earth, the resources that we have, and how do we utilize the resources for our development. You read this in the newspapers also. So resources and development. This is class 8th NCERT. This is more about how we as humans have utilized the things on the earth, have utilized the resources on the earth for our well-being. Okay? An example that I have is, let's say you have good forest on the earth. We have utilized the forest and the trees, the wood of the trees for furniture. We have utilized the trees for our food. We have utilized the wood of the tree for fuel. We go to forest for our cultural activities. We worship trees. We go to forest for tourism, called as ecotourism. So trees, forest, which is there on the earth, how have we utilized them? How have we seen tree as a resource? What is a resource? Something that has some value, some utility. So that is about resources and development. Class 8th NCERT. It is going to a deeper domain, from earth to environment to resources. Then we have the next one. Then we are moving on to our country, to our nation, that is India. So this is class 9th NCERT. Class 9th NCERT mentions about India. So this is about contemporary India. The contemporary India, part 1. It talks about Himalayas. It talks about the peninsular plateau, the northern plains of our country. It talks about the coastal areas of the country. So contemporary India 1. Where do you have Himalayas? What about the peninsular plateau? Where do we have good hills? Where do we have good soil? What are the types of soil in India? What is the vegetation in India? What kind of forest do we have in India? So this is contemporary India, part 1. It is divided into 2 parts. This is class 9th. So class 9th talks about the contemporary India, part 1. Class 10th talks about contemporary India, part 2. It talks about contemporary India, part 2. So it is divided into 2 parts, class 9th and class 10th. Okay? Class 9th, half portion, class 10th, half portion. This is about railway, this is about ports that we have, this is about the sea, the coastal areas that we have. So this is more about the hills, plains, plateau. This is more about the resources that we have. We have a lot of iron ore, we have a lot of gold in our country. Where do you have that? So 2 portion. This class 6 to the books, the class 6 to class 10th, this will set the base. This will set the base for the subject. Okay, talks about earth. This earth, there is environment, you have resources, you have the next one as the India part 1, and we also have India part 2, and we also have India part 2. Okay, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. This is 6th class NCERT. This is 6th class NCERT, 7th class NCERT, 8th class NCERT, 9th class NCERT and 10th class NCERT. So the base is class 6 to class 10th. Then we have what? We have next one, that is class 11th NCERT. There are 2 NCERTs for the class 11th. Both of them are very, very important. One NCERT that you have is, this is class 11th NCERT. This is part 1 and this is 11th class NCERT. Part 2. Class 1 and part 1 and part 2. What is part 1? Fundamentals of physical geography. Part 1. This is mentioning what? This is mentioning the fundamentals of physical geography. Okay, the physical geography part. Again, the same thing, a little more detailed. When I say physical geography, it is about where do you have mountains, why do you have mountains, where do you have mountains of the world. We have Rockies, we have Andes. So there's a mountain in Northern America that is called as Rockies. There is mountain in the Southern America that is called as Andes. We have mountains in India, very famous mountains, Himalayas. Okay, so it is talking about what? The fundamentals of physical geography. It is mentioning about the mountain in the world. It is talking about the climate of the world. It is mentioning what are the oceans. We have a lot of oceans in the world. You have Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, oceans of the world. It talks about the environmental portion. So physical geography of what? Of the world. Of the world. Okay, this is class 11th NCERT. Then you also have part 2. This is part 1. Okay, then you also have part 2. Then you also have part 2. This is about India. This is about India. So this was about the world. This was about the world. If this was about the world, this is about India. Same thing. The mountains of India. The mountains of India. The climate of India. We have monsoon system. We know that. It's very, very complicated to predict monsoon. So the monsoon that we have, the climate that we have. We also have the ocean. The ocean, Indian Ocean. We have a lot of conflicts going on in the Indian Ocean. We have a lot of resources in the Indian Ocean. So mountains, climate, oceans. This is about India per se. So this is also about physical geography. See, both of them, they have the same theme, physical geography. Physical India, physical world. This is class 11th NCERT. So this was class 11th. What was class 11th about? Class 11th was about India, physical, and it was also world physical. World physical geography. Lot many questions in your prelims examination. Lot many questions in the prelims examination. In your UPSC prelims examination. They come from where? They come from this NCERT. Very important NCERT for the examination. So very, very important NCERT. The most important NCERT is this. However, for you to understand this NCERT, you need to have a base. You need to have a base of these NCERTs. You need to have a base of these NCERTs. So this is the base there. Okay, class 11th NCERT. Then you also have next one we have. So this both were physical. The next one that we have is class 12. What is class 12? The class 12th is same as that of 11. Is same as that of 11th. Class 12th is same as that of 11th, but it is not just about physical geography anymore. It is not just about physical geography anymore. It is actually about human geography. So you have human dimension here, and you also have human dimension. So if class 11th is about physical geography, if it is about physical geography, class 12th is about human geography. Does human geography question comes in prelims examination? Not many. Not many questions are coming from this dimension. However, it is very important for your mains examination. For the mains examination, this is very, very important. Why? Because your GS paper 1 as well as GS paper 3 as well as some portions of your GS paper 2, especially the international relations, it is important. For GS paper 3, infrastructure, this is important. For GS paper 1, even society part, this becomes important. So this becomes very important for your mains examination. Prelims, not many questions come, but for your mains examination, this is very, very important NCERT. Let me have a look at this NCERT. This is your class 12th NCERT. You'll see that it is talking about the fundamentals of human geography. If class 11th was fundamentals of physical geography, if this was fundamentals of physical geography, this is the fundamentals of the human geography of the world, definitely. So this is the fundamentals of the fundamental of the human geography. The fundamental of the human geography. Okay. This is more about the human dimension. What do you mean by human dimension? See, we know that the population aspect. You might have studied in somewhere in the news or anywhere that India is the most populous country in the world. The largest populous country in the world is India. So why do we have that much of population in India? There has to be some reasons, right? Why are we the most populous country? What are the reasons? This dimension we study. Okay. So population, we study the population. Once you study the population, you also study what is the literacy rate of the country. In some parts of the country, let's say the northern India, the literacy is less as compared to the southern India. Why does that happen? So what are we studying? We are studying the human part. We are studying human part in geography. Then what happens? This becomes the fundamentals of human geography. This is related to what? So this, I was giving you example of India. I was giving an example of India. This is the Indian part. So we will study the world part. We will study the world part as well as we'll study the India part. We'll study the world part and we'll study the India part. India, people and economy. And we'll study the human geography, that is the world dimension. Okay. So now that you know that, what is that you are going to read? You are going to read this for your base. Some idea about the earth, some idea about the environment, some idea about your India, some idea about the resources that we have. Okay. This is there for the base. Then you have class 11th, India physical, world physical, India world, India human and the world human. That is what we have. That is what we have. Correct? Okay, so India and the world. Moving on. So yes. So India physical and world physical, India human and the world human. So this was about what books do we have to read. So what have we covered? One topic that we have covered is one more thing that you should need. One more thing that you should need to know is that geography is incomplete without understanding the mapping part. So you have to cover the mapping dimension, right? The mapping dimension has to be covered. And how do you understand the maps? How do you understand the places that are there in news or the places which are traditionally also important? You have to refer atlas. You have to keep your atlas with you. This is a basic Bible. As we have the constitution for polity, this is the basic Bible for your geography. That atlas has to be there with you even while you're reading your current affairs, right? Because it will tell you that where is Bangalore, where is Delhi, where do you have Ladakh, in which part of the world do you have Mediterranean Sea, what are the countries that are surrounding the Mediterranean Sea. That you will have to see through your atlas. What atlas to buy? Should I buy Orient Black Swan, or should I buy Orient Black Swan, or should I buy Oxford? Any of them is fine. Either of them is fine. You can have Orient Black Swan or you can have Oxford. Whatever you get easily in your place, you buy that. Okay? Both of them are good. So this is very important because it is mapping portion which is a core of geography. The core point of geography is to have the idea of the maps. So this is your Oxford. Now let me start. What we've done, that we've understood what books we have to cover. What books we have to cover, we have seen this. We've completed this topic. Now we'll meet what is geography. What is geography? If I talk about geography as subject, this is your geography. Geo means what? Geo means earth. Graphy means what? Graphy means description. So it is simple. What is geography? You will simply say geography is about description. Geography is description of earth. Description of earth. When I say description of the earth, when you hear the word description of the earth, you have to describe something. What do you describe? You will say, I will describe hills. I will describe mountains. I will describe soil. I will describe ocean. I will describe environment. I can describe a forest. This is what geography is. Description of the earth. But why am I describing this? Just for philosophical purpose. Just because it is, I like it. You see birds, you like it. So that is why you are describing. One idea is, yes, you describe because you like it. But the other idea is because you want to adjust to this. You want to adjust to the hills. You want to adjust to the mountains, right? You will want to see that if this is the soil, what type of crops do I grow? So you study description of the earth because it is, why do I describe it? Because it is the home of whom? Of man. It is the home of a man. It is my home. It is your home. See, soils, if I go study soil, I know that what kind of crop can I grow? What kind of agriculture? What kind of agriculture can I do? I will study the oceans because I will then know that from the oceans, when can I have cyclones? When can there be tsunami? I can use my oceans for what? For my travel purpose. So what? Human is coming here. It is my home. Human is coming here. I want to do this. So I should know this. I want to save myself. So I should study ocean. I want to do some agriculture. So I should study soil. I want to know that I want some medicines. So I should do what? I should study some forest. Turmeric, haldi. What crop? Where to utilize? Teak. I want to create my furniture. I need to know that what wood is durable. Where do I get that wood? How do I transport that wood? So I am describing the earth for what purpose? I am describing the earth because it is my home and I want to utilize it. This all are what? These all are resources for me. These all things that the earth has. That is what? Is a resource for me. They have, what is a resource? Something that has value. They are valuable for me. They are valuable for me. Correct? So, what is geography? Basically, geography is concerned with what? Is concerned with the description and explanation of the features on the Earth's surface. There are some features on the Earth's surface. I am concerned about description of them. I'm concerned about explanation of them. And why do I do this? I study the Earth because it is my home. Geography is the study of the Earth as a home of a man. As a home of the man. And I'll tell you an interesting fact that this portion of geography, which is about nature, this portion of geography which is about natural things, is called as physical geography. The moment human enters into it, I'll just help you out like this. This is your human geography. Industry, I'm establishing. Agriculture, I am doing. Trade and transport, I am doing. The study of population, that is about me, I am doing. The moment human comes into it, it becomes what? Human geography. What is this? This is your class. 11th NCERT. This is your class 12th NCERT. This is your class 11th NCERT and this is your class 12th NCERT. ठीक है? So, what is geography? This is your geography. Explanation of the earth, explaining the various features on the surface of earth. Why? Because it is my home. Clear? So, these are the various definitions. Okay, fine. So far, so good. Now, when you study geography, you don't simply describe. What happens in description? What is a description? Description, this is a table. A table is made up of wood. How do you describe a thing? Suppose I have to describe something. So this is a stool. The stool is made up of wood. The wood is made up of, this is a special wood. It has some designs. This is how you describe things. That is description. Geography, you are saying, is description of the earth. How do you describe? This is a hill. The hill is of that height. Okay. The hill has these types of plants. The hill has this type of rocks. This is mere description. You don't simply describe in geography, you also explain in geography. Okay. What do you mean by explanation? Explanation means, okay, this is the hill. Why is this hill here? Why is the hill? First, where is the hill? Suppose Himalayas. This is Himalayas. Where are Himalayas? To the northern part of India. Why are Himalayas in the northern part of India? What happened that Himalayas were formed? That is going into detail. That is understanding the why dimension. Why? Why is something where it is? Okay. So this also becomes a part of your geography. That you identify what? Suppose you are identifying natural features. Himalayas. You are identifying what? You are identifying Himalayas. You not simply identified Himalayas, but you also went into where are Himalayas? Himalayas are here. Himalayas are in the northern part of India. So, you understood mountains and you also understood where are they. So, where? What and where? What and where? So, what feature? Where is the feature? And why is the feature? Why is the feature wherever it is? What happened? Why is Himalayas only in this part of the country? Why are mountains here? Why are Rockies mountain here? Why are Andes mountain here? Why do you have Atlas mountain here? Why do we have Great Dividing Range here? Why? You also question why. So it's not simple description. This is Himalayas. This is it. This is in the northern part of the country. Why are they there? What happened? How did they form? The why dimension is very, very important. So geography addresses these questions as well. It is talking about what, where, and why. Clear? So what is geography? Geography is description. I'll write it for you again. What is geography? Geography is description and explanation of various features on Earth's surface, on the Earth's surface. It is description and explanation of the various features on the Earth's surface. It explains the reasons. It explains the reasons for varied features. For the various features, it explains the reason for the various features. Reason, why? The why dimension. It explains the reasons for various features. Clear? Then it has two subdivisions. Geography has two subdivisions. What are the subdivisions? One is physical geography. The other is the human geography. One is the physical geography and the other is the human geography. So it has two subdivisions, physical geography and human geography. This is about geography. Okay? Physical geography and human geography. Now, this is what we have studied so far. Now, what all comes under physical geography? What all comes under physical geography? In physical geography, the physical dimension, there are some domains that you need to understand. There are some domains that you have to understand. What all will come in physical geography? I'm just moving it here. So it has two divisions. One is the physical geography, the other is the human geography. The physical geography. You study about the surface of Earth, the land part, the land surface, physical aspect, the land surface. You will study about the land surface. You study about the atmosphere. Okay. You study about the climate part or the ocean part. You study about the ocean part. So the land surface, the atmosphere, the ocean surface. What is this? This is called as, you also study about the dimension of forest, soil, vegetation. Okay, forest, soil and vegetation. The study of the land surface, is called as geography. morphology. It is called as, I'll just write it once again for you, the study of the land surface. The study of the land surface is called as geomorphology. Geomorphology. Should I increase the size of it? It is called as geomorphology. Okay. The study of the atmosphere. We are talking about physical geography. It is called as climatology. The study of the ocean is called as oceanography. The study of the forest, soil and vegetation is called as biogeography. So climatology, oceanography, biogeography, geomorphology. These are nothing but physical geography. We study this in physical geography. You'll study about land surface. Land surface means what? You'll study about hills. You'll study about mountain. You study about the plains of India, the plains of the world. Great Plains, Brahmaputra Plains, Ganga Plains, Indus Plain. You also have famous river in USA. Okay? You talk about the plains of that river. You talk about the plains of, Yangtze River of China. Yangtze River of China. So you study the plains of the world. Okay? The Great Plains. You study about the deserts. Okay? That you study in the atmosphere and the climate. So what do you study in climate? You study about winds. You study about rainfall. You study about desert. This you study in the climate dimension. Okay. Climatology. Oceanography, you study about coral reef. You study about the waves, the tide. This you study in the ocean part. And the soil, forest, vegetation you study in the biogeography. So geography has two major dimensions. Okay, geomorphology, climatology, physical geography and human geography. Physical geography has 4 divisions or 5 divisions: geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography. This is your physical geography. If I talk about the next one, that is your human geography. Human is coming. What do? What we do as humans. What we as humans do. What we as humans do? We talk about the human, in the human dimension. You talk about agriculture. You talk about agriculture. You talk about trade. How we have traded. We humans have traded in very, very ancient civilizations as well. Indus Valley civilization. About how many years? 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, we were trading. With what? We were trading with West Asia. We were trading with Egypt. There were some trade seals that have been seen. So trade, human geography. There's also transportation, railway lines, seaports, aeroplanes. That also becomes a part of geography. Transport. You study the population. You study the population of the world. If I give you one fact, right? India has about 17% of the world population, 18% of the world population. If I tell you that South Asia, Southeast Asia and East Asia, okay? What is South Asia? India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, ठीक है, नेपाल, भूटान, Maldives, they are part of South Asia. Okay, so South Asia plus one, South Asia plus Southeast Asia. Who all are there in Southeast Asia? Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, okay, and etc. Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand. So South Asia plus Southeast Asia plus East Asia. What are there in East Asia? Japan, China, Korea. They are part of East Asia. These three regions of the world, South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, three regions of the world has more than 65% of the world population. You see the world, we have Europe, so many countries. We have North America, big countries there. Canada, US, Mexico. You have South America, so many countries. Australia, Africa. Leave them apart. Only three regions of the world. You know what? 30 countries? Only 30 countries in the world. They have about 65 to 67% of the world population. Imagine. So these figures, the reasons why these three regions have more population. What is the population? Is the population young or the population is old? Is the population literate or the population is illiterate? That you all study where? You all study there in this human geography. This is called as the population geography. Human geography, also called as the population geography. You also study settlement activities. You also study settlement. The kind of houses that we have in northern India is very different from the kind of houses that we have in the southern India. Is very different from the kind of houses that you have in the northeastern India. Is very different, right? All of them are very different. It is this analysis that what is the kind of house that we have in even in the rural India versus the urban India. The kind of houses are different. So that way you study that in human geography. That is your settlement geography. Okay, so this one, what do you study? You study lithosphere. Lithosphere means what? What are the, first let me explain like this. Human and geography. Geography is considered as the study of the earth, which is the home of man. So you have what dimension? You have physical geography and you also have human geography. And you should know that earth is the only known home of the human. There's exploration going on ki humans kahan hai, where do you have humans in the world? It is, still now we know that earth has the humans alone. Probably you will have some other galaxies, but we are not sure. For now, earth is the only place. Earth is the only known home of the human. So you will have to study earth nicely. What will you study? You will study physical geography. What is there in the physical geography? In the physical geography, you study resources, you study natural phenomena, you study disaster management. So you study those. What do you study in human geography? In the human geography, you study demography. Demography means population. You study the planning dimension. You study the geopolitical dimension. So this is what is you study. That is what we've mentioned here also. We are studying various features. We are studying various dimensions. Okay, we are studying the physical geography. You can also say this, in the physical geography there are 4 important domains. In physical geography there are 4 important domains that you can see. Geomorphology bolo ya isko aap lithosphere bolo. You can also call them as lithosphere. You can also call this as lithosphere. You also call this as atmosphere. You can also call this as hydrosphere, and you can also call this as biosphere. Lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere. Okay, these are the 4 domains that we have. The 4 domains of the earth. The 4 domains of physical geography. The 4 domains of physical geography. Okay, so these are the divisions that we have. Now, so if I talk about this one, human geography and physical geography, we know that it is very important that humans have adjusted to the nature. Humans, they have adjusted to the nature. There are humans who are still living in some of the coldest place on the earth, igloos. So what have we done? Humans, they have naturalized themselves. We have tried to live even in the harsh conditions. So that also is about geography. And you should also know that humans have also tried to modify the nature. See, this is the beautiful mountain. In the beautiful mountain, you'll see a home. We have also tried to humanize the nature. We've given a human touch to the nature. Okay? So this is a very interesting fact that in geography we talk about the balance between environment and the development. The balance between the environment and the human there. Sometimes the environment is important, sometimes the development is also important, and this turf and compulsions will definitely go on. Okay? So this is about geography. Now, so geography, what all are part of geography, you'll see this is a figure that has been given in the NCERT. Geography, is it a vast subject? Yes, it is a vast subject. Why is it a vast subject? Because geography has taken something from every subject. See, in science, in physics, you study a specialized domain. In biology, you study specialized bodies. In chemistry, you study about the atoms. Geography as a subject developed quite late in academics. So geography has taken lot of things from many other subjects. They have taken something from every subject. So if I talk about culture, if I talk about society or economics, okay, I'll just elaborate each one of them. See, this is geography. The geography is a vast subject. It has taken many things from many people. From geology, the earth, geography has taken something and that has become geomorphology. The land part, geomorphology geography studies the land part. Geography has taken something from anthropology or the human dimension or the societal dimension, that is called as cultural geography. We study culture also in geography at times. Okay, there was this question in your UPSC mains examination, right, that what effect does monsoon winds, how does monsoon winds affect the culture of a place, culture of Magadha region? So even in mains examination, they are linking 2 subjects. They are linking geography and culture. How will monsoon affect the culture? You will see that the dress that we wear. What is culture? The dress that you wear, the food that you eat, the songs that you sing, the dance that you have. These are affected by, this is culture. Now we have to see that how geography influences the food that we eat, the dress that we wear, the songs that we sing, the dance that we do. How geography influences, especially the winds. You know that monsoon, it comes in a definite time period, June to October. So in June to October, there's different kind of food that we eat. Okay, there's different kind of crops that are grown. Therefore, there is the type of crops that are grown is influenced by the rainfall and winds. The dress that we wear, the songs that we sing, like Savan Sangeet, the local songs which talks about whether the rain will come or not come. You might have seen the movie Lagan. ठीक है, घन रे घन गिर आए वर्षा. ठीक है, so वर्षा के ऊपर songs बन रहे हैं. वर्षा means rain. So geography is influencing culture also. Savan Sangeet. This is what geography is. It's a very good subject. It gives you an idea about each one of the other subjects. So you have From the land dimension, this is what geography is, the domain of geography, the expanse of geography. It is geomorphology, it is cultural geography. From economics, you've taken economic geography. What is economic geography? Where do you have gold resource? Where means place. Jahan place aaya, that means geography. So where do you have gold resource? Where do you have iron ore resources? They're economically important, right? Lithium, there was lithium in news last year. Where do you have lithium? Why do you have lithium there? That is economic geography. Biology, animals, plants, part of biology, that becomes biogeography. Health sciences, that becomes medical geography. The urban study, the study of urban areas, urban geography. The study of history, historical geography. There was a question that was asked in mains, that why Panipat region is very important and why 3 battles took place in Panipat. When you talk about a place, you're talking about geography and you're linking history. Why Battle of Panipat? 3 battles of Panipat took place at that place, at Panipat. Why did they take place? So geographical dimension. Okay. Psychology, you have behavioral geography. Marine sciences, you have marine geography. The meteorology, you have climatology. The demography, population, you have population geography. You study political science, you talk about political geography. You know that Indian Ocean is becoming very, very important. Even China is trying to have some hold in Indian Ocean region. Even Japan wants to establish its footprint. USA is all the more interested in Indian Ocean region. Okay? And the neighboring countries of India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Myanmar, they are also taking a very important role in the Indian Ocean. So political nations, the nations are taking place in a region. They are taking interest in a region. They are taking interest in the Indian Ocean. This, the study of this, why are so many nations interested in the Indian Ocean, comes under which topic? Comes under political geography. So these are the domains of geography. The domains of geography are geomorphology, you'll see, geomorphology, cultural geography, economic geography, biogeography, geomorphology, cultural geology, economic geography, biogeography, medical geography, urban geography, historical geography, behavioral geography. Okay, I'll repeat. Geomorphology, cultural geology, economic geography, biogeography, medical geography, urban geography, historical geography, behavioral geography, marine geography, climatology, political geography, population geography. There are 12 domains. What are important for your examination? I'll color them. The domains that are important for your examination. Geomorphology is important. Climatology is important. Oceanography is important for your UPSC examination, prelims examination. Biogeography is important for the prelims examination. Economic geography is important for the prelims examination. So important for prelims. This important for mains. Important for mains. Important for mains. Some would be overlapping also. So geomorphology, economic geography is not as important for mains. Biogeography is not as important for mains. Climatology is important for mains. Population geography is important for mains. Population geography is very important for the mains examination. ठीक है? So these are more important for the mains examination. Geomorphology is important, climatology is important, population geography is important. Even for that matter, oceanography is important for the mains examination. Biogeography, not many questions come. Economic geography, not many questions come. Okay. Industries, the industrial part. In economic geography, the industrial part. The economic geography, there is one part that is your industrial part. The industries. That is important for your mains examination. ठीक है? Which industry is there? Iron and steel. Why do we have iron and steel? Where do you have it? What are the resources needed? What are the ingredients needed? That is. So some dimension of what is geography. So what have we covered so far? We have covered this part, that we've covered what is geography, and we've also covered what books do we have to read. What books do we have to read? Okay. Now I am moving on to the next topic, that is universe. That is universe. Okay. What is universe? How was universe formed? When was universe formed? What is Big Bang theory? That is what we will understand. Okay. Now what I do is, I should have mentioned that before only, I like to teach via animations. Okay. I want to show a picture, I want you to see that picture, I want you to see the video, and then it becomes very easy for you to understand. So I'll give you a demo here. So it's this one. 1 minute, please. Suppose I am talking about universe. What is universe? So this is universe. Brahmand. A limitless space is universe. Is there a limit to universe? We don't know. So what do we say? A limitless space is universe. Everything that you see is part of universe. You see sun, it's a part of universe. You see other planet, it is a part of universe. You see constellation, there are many stars, sun is one star. So many stars together is called as constellation, that is a part of universe. You see galaxies, thousands of stars together, galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, we are a part of Milky Way galaxy, that is a part of universe. Okay? PK, you remember the movie PK? So there's a lot of Brahman, they start with Brahman, there are a lot of galaxies, there are other galaxies. So a lot of galaxies are there, that also becomes a part of universe. So what is universe? A limitless expanse of space, which has thousands of galaxies, which has thousands of stars, which has thousands of other planets. Okay? There would be other planets as well. We know our planet Earth. We know our solar system. Okay? So here, this is the universe. I want you to show it and then move. Now, how was the universe formed? How was the universe formed? So what I want to do is, you all know, I'll just revise. Universe were formed 13.5 billion years ago. Okay, 13.5, 13.8 billion years ago, universe was formed. How was universe formed? Everything that you see today was concentrated in one single tiny ball. This is one single tiny ball. Everything was concentrated in this one single tiny ball. Now this one single tiny ball. So everything was concentrated in this one single tiny ball. Okay, everything and anything that you see. This tiny ball exploded. There was an explosion that took place. So what do you have? You started having galaxies. You started having matter, galaxies, stars, dust, everything came. Then, so let's say this was 13.5 billion years ago. Galaxies came. Now, over some time, the galaxies moved apart. They've moved apart. Again, the galaxies have moved apart. The galaxies, they have been moving apart. The galaxies, they have been moving apart. The galaxies, they have been moving apart from each other. How is it? You'll see that. This is how. So this is like the initial phase, and let's say this is the present day. This is the present day. Everything was concentrated in one single tiny ball. The tiny ball exploded. There was space, there was matter, there were dust, there was star, there were galaxies that were formed. Over the billions of years, the galaxies have moved away. The galaxies have moved away. And this is what you have in the present day. Okay. So you know that how was universe formed? There was this single tiny ball. There was this one. How is the universe formed? I'll just write a timeline for you. So there was this one single tiny ball. Everything was concentrated in this single tiny ball. What was this called as? This was called as singularity. This was called as singularity. So everything was concentrated in one single tiny ball called as singularity. After this, what happened? There was an explosion. There was an explosion that took place. So you call this as what? You call this as singularity. After this, what happened? There was an exploration. Okay, let me color it with different color so that it is visible to you. So this one. Singularity. Okay. Then there was an explosion that took place. There was an explosion that took place. What happened before the after the explosion? There was creation of matter. There was a creation of the matter. Matter was created. Creation of matter. Creation of space. Creation of dust. Creation of planets. Creation of stars. Okay. And then what has happened? Creation of matter, creation of planet, creation of stars. And then what happened? This is nothing but your universe. This is nothing but universe. And then what has happened? The universe expanded. Universe expanded and is still expanding. Today also the universe is expanding. The universe expanded and the universe is still expanding. Right? This is how things happen. This is the present day. Now I can show it to you. I can explain it to you. I can dictate. I can make you write. I can make you draw the diagram as well. This is what traditional happens. This is how traditional things have been happen. However, I want to add an element to this. After doing this, I will make you write, I will explain, I will make you draw, I will take your doubts. But for you to revise it better, I will also show you animations. I'll try to show you the animation. So this is the animation. That everything was, pay attention here. I'm showing it to you. Pay attention here to this side, okay? In the next video. Everything was concentrated in a single tiny ball. The single tiny ball exploded, and then you have all the fabric of space. You have stars, you have galaxies. So once you see the images, once you see the story, you will see that this will get consolidated in your mind. I'll show it to you here also. You'll see. Everything was consolidated in a single tiny ball. The tiny ball exploded. The fabric of space was created. Stars, galaxy, dust, debris were formed, and the expansion is still going on. This is how things have been expanding in time. You can see, you can pay attention here. The similar diagram. It was an explosion that took place. The fabric of space was created, the universe was created, and the universe is still expanding. The universe is still expanding. The universe is still expanding. You'll see that there are many galaxies there. This is what this is called as Big Bang theory. The explosion that took place is called as Big Bang. Therefore, this is called as Big Bang theory. Okay? So once you see the images, once you see the animations, things get consolidated in your mind. Things are retained for a better time period, and that is why we are here. We want to make some innovations there. We want to do some tweakings there. Okay? So this is how it is. So this is what explosion. The explosion is called as what? The explosion is called as Big Bang. The explosion is called as Big Bang. Therefore, the theory, this theory is called as what? This theory is called as Big Bang theory. This theory is called as Big Bang theory. Did you understand this part? The Big Bang theory, singularity, expansion of universe, and the various other things that we have. Clear? So this is the animation that I wanted you to see. As the universe was formed, as there was an explosion that took place, as the explosion took place, lot of dust. So this is an explosion. This is a very neat diagram. But when the explosion took place, there was lot of dust. There was lot of dust that was seen across. You can see this here. This was this. Lot of dust was spread across the entire space. You know what? This cloud, there were a lot of clouds. There were clouds of dust. There were clouds of debris. Debris is small dust particles. There was a lot of rocks that were exploded. There was a lot of gases that were exploded. So once the universe, once the tiny ball exploded, there were clouds of, once the tiny ball exploded, there were clouds of dust. There were clouds of debris. There were clouds of gases. There were clouds of metals. There were clouds of rocks. There was an entire cloud, one cloud that had rocks, that had metals, that had debris, that had dust. These clouds are called as what? These clouds are called as nebula. These clouds are called as nebula. Okay, this is the entire cloud. The cloud of dust, the cloud of debris. This cloud is called as what? This cloud is called as this one. This cloud is called as nebula. It has what? It has rocks. It has dust. It has metals. It has gases. Okay. And these clouds of dust, of gases, of rocks, of metals, once they started coming up together, they formed stars. They form planets. Okay, so I'll explain line by line. See what is happening here. What I'm explaining here, I'm giving you a timeline. This is the timeline that we have. So here. $13.5 billion years ago, what is getting formed? Universe is getting formed. Formation of universe. Okay? Universe is getting formed. 13.5 billion years ago, universe is getting formed. Once universe is getting formed, then what will happen? We know that how was universe formed? How was universe formed? Universe was formed because of the Big Bang. Big Bang of singularity. Big Bang from singularity. From the singularity. Everything like a tiny ball. Okay, there was a tiny ball that led to formation. Now what happened? Because of the Big Bang, there were nebula formed. There was nebula that was formed. The nebula is what? The nebula is the cloud. Cloud of what? Nebula is the cloud. Cloud of dust. Cloud of rocks. Cloud of debris. Metals. The cloud of dust, rocks, debris, metals. This is getting formed. What do you call this as? You call this as nebula. You call this as nebula. So from Big Bang, there is cloud that is getting formed. Let me just help you out here like this. This is the timeline. So from singularity, nebula, Big Bang from singularity, there's nebula. The cloud of dust, rocks, debris, metals is getting formed. Now what happened? Over the time, this nebula, which is spread, start consolidating. So over the time, over some time, nebula comes, or the nebula, I'll use the word accrete. Accrete means ACCRETE. What does accrete means? Come together. Accretes, or in bracket you can write collapses. Collapses. Accretes, or you can write collapse. Okay? As it collapses, it forms stars. It forms stars, and it also forms planets. It forms stars and planet. So how is star formed? Star and planet. Star is formed, let's say sun. Sun was formed 5 billion years ago. Okay, universe is about 13.5 billion years ago. Sun is only 5 billion years ago. Okay, and moving on here, the planet. I'm so sorry. The planet. No. Planet like Earth. The planets like our Earth. Planets in the solar system, they have been formed 4 to 3.5 billion years ago. 3.5 billion years ago. 4 to 3.5 billion years ago. So how are sun and planets formed? The suns and planet, they are formed from what? They are formed from the nebula. Nebula collapses on itself and then forms what? Then forms stars and planets. Sun is a star, so it forms sun. Example, sun and planets. An example can be Earth. How are they formed? They are formed because of the nebula coming together, collapsing on itself, cooling down. So what is the difference between a star and a planet? A difference between star and a planet is, star is a massive body. Star is a massive and heavy body. Massive and heavy body. It has lot of weight. Is massive and heavy body as compared to what? As compared to planet. As compared to the, it is very heavy as compared to the planet. Massive body, that is your star. Okay, so planet. This is planet. This is comparatively smaller in size. This is comparatively smaller in size. How are both forming? Both are forming from the same process where this nebula cools, collapses on itself. It cools and collapses on itself. You can see this is a nebula. This is cooling and collapsing on itself. You'll see it is cooling and collapsing on itself. So this is the formation of star, sun. Okay, the nebula is cooling and collapsing on itself. How is the planet formed? Planet is also formed from the same method. The nebula is cooling, the nebula is coming up together, then the particles, the small particles in the nebula, they are cooling and they are coming up together to form the planet. Okay, the process is same. What is the difference? This is very heavy. This has lot of particles. Let's say if I give you an example, in solar system, the entire solar system that you can see, where you have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, the planets. We have a lot of dust particles also. If I give you an example, what is the difference between sun and a planet? The star and a planet? I'll give you an example of our solar system. 97 to 99% of the entire weight of that nebula, 97 to 99% of the weight of the nebula got concentrated in the sun. Sun is so heavy as compared to a planet. The sun is so heavy as compared to the planet. So the nebula cooled. There was collapsion. There was the dust particle collapsed here. The dust particles also collapsed here. But here 97% of the particles, 99% of the particles have collapsed, and it is only 3% of the entire thing rest. The rest entire thing is just 3%. So such is a heavy body like star, like sun. It is so heavy. Right? So the difference between the sun and planet, very massive. 97% of the mass of solar system. These are smaller in size. How is the process? The process is same. The process is the same. The process is collapsing of the dust of the gas particles. Collapsion of the dust and the here when I talk about, so this is the formation of star, formation of sun. All the dust particles, debris of the nebula, gases of the nebula are collapsing on itself, cooling and collapsing on itself. Okay, the same process is for the planets. The dust particles, the debris are collapsing on itself. This is the planet. This is the final planet. This is the final planet. What is happening? The dust particles, the gases, the dust particle gases, debris, rocks, metal, they collapse. They collapse on themselves. What will happen? In the initial stage, planetesimal is formed. What is planetesimal? A smaller planet. And from the planetesimal, final planet is formed. The final planet is formed. The process is same. Collapsing of debris, of metals, of dust. But what are the stages for the planet? Nebula collapse, formation of planetesimal, and from the planetesimal you will have the planet. So this is about the universe. Formation of universe is about singularity to Big Bang, to formation of galaxies, expansion of galaxies. The expansion still continues. These are the stages. Formation of stars and planet. Once the universe exploded, there was dust, debris, rocks, metals all around in the form of nebula. This nebula over the time collapses, cools, accretes, concentrates, forms stars and planet. The process is the same. Difference is planet is smaller in size, not very heavy, very few dust particles and metals coming up together. A star is a massive body, lot of dust, debris, metals, rocks coming up together, gases coming up together. What are the stages in the formation of planet? Nebula collapse, planetesimals, and the formation of the planet. So this is what we have for the topic of the day. Yeah. Okay. So this is what we have for you. What have we done today? We gave an overview of geography. In the overview of geography, what did we study? We studied the books that you have to read. You studied the subject domain. What is the subject about? What is the domain of the subject? Then we understood the formation of universe. We also understood the formation of sun, and we understood the formation of the earth. In the main class, this is a demo class, so I did not dictate, but in the main class I will also dictate and I will make you write. This was to give you a brief idea about how we go about the teaching. So I'm not dictating for you. In the main class I'll dictate for you also, so that you have everything in your notes. Okay. So this is what we have from our side for today. This is what we have from our side for today for you. I hope you like the videos. Stay tuned, stay connected. Welcome to the Pinnacle Batch, all of you. Thank you so much.